let's get to our final game that we're going to dissect in depth. And I know that you're going to enjoy talking about this as we laugh at the mediocre Dallas Cowboys, who lost in Carolina 30-27. And it was a bit of a revenge game in this one from Carolina Panthers running back Rico Dowdle, who had 239 all-purpose yards and a touchdown in this game. He had 30 carries for 183 rushing yards and 4 receptions for 56 yards and a touchdown. And he outdueled George Pickens in this game. As you mentioned, George Pickens and the success that he's been having so far in Dallas with 9 receptions for 168 yards and a touchdown. But it wasn't enough as the Panthers win 30-27. And for me, Kaz, I'll just say quickly, this seemed like a game that if the Cowboys wanted to say, hey, we're going to go to the playoffs, we're going to be a team to look out for this year, like they look good in that tie against the Packers. But ultimately, if they want to be a playoff team and actually be formidable, this is a game that you have to win. And yeah, the Panthers, they're building and they're getting better, but ultimately they should have just put their thumb on them and got this dub, and yet they let it slip out of their hands. Even when you look at the win probability chart, like it was up on Dallas basically the entire game until you get midway through the fourth quarter, and it just plummeted towards Carolina because that was ultimately the way that this game went for the Cowboys. And they ultimately lose a game that they trailed, or that they were leading 24-20 entering the fourth quarter. And so aside from being an Eagles fan and just getting joy out of the failure of Dallas, what were your thoughts on this one?
I'm going to speak from a player standpoint, and as someone who has, done some amazing things with my athleticism, and I would even say my leadership skills as a coach. You watch Philadelphia lose on Thursday to the New York Giants, and you mean to tell me that you're not in that locker room as a leader? And I'm talking to Dak Prescott because he's the leader of that team. Okay, a quarterback has just as much right to talk to that defense as much as they do as their offense when they're that prolific. This is me giving Dak his flowers right before I take them away. This is why we talk about, from the quarterback position, that your stats don't mean shit when you lose. Dak played out of his mind. Dak is currently playing out of his mind, and it's the same old song and dance with the Dallas Cowboys. They've had good defenses. They've had dog shit defenses. And you know what? I wish I would have saw Rico Dowdle's interview where I guess he mentioned how this is a revenge game, because I would have actually picked Carolina to win. I did not know that even happened. I picked Dallas to win because I said in my picks, I said Dallas' offense right now is a little too high powered. And I think I also said that I think in order to beat Dallas, you need to have a solid defense to kind of keep their offense from scoring a lot of points, and some sort of life on offense. And the Rico Dowdle thing just slipped my mind. Not because of what he did the previous week where he went off. That happens. Okay. Like there's random running backs that we can't even name anymore that's gone off for like probably 250 and 3 touchdowns. And that's the first and only time they've ever done it. But what I will say is this. They're in Carolina. Dallas does have a bad defense. Their defense is dog shit. Okay? Looking at their offense, I strayed away from what I believe in as a football fan and as a former player. At a very low level, but a former player. You need to have a solid defense, and you need to have a solid run game. Dowd has had some success from what's his name? Javonte Williams. Oh, yeah, of course. He's on my fantasy. But Dallas has this persona that they just need to make their quarterback. They're so stuck in the 90s, which I fucking love it, because that's why they fail every fucking year. Of we need the quarterback to go out there to save the day, throw the ball 40 times a game, and blah 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 blah. It's like you're giving the ball right back to the opposing offense. And what goes up must come down. I would much rather have a strong run game than a strong passing game 10 times out of 10 times, because I can also control the clock that way as well and give my defense a break. So You're on the road in a must-win game against Carolina, who is not a good team right now. The fact that they went in there, did what they did on offense, while watching Carolina do what they were doing on offense, while realizing that we can't stop Rico Dowdle, and to not revert to more conservative style offensive play calling is why they fucking lost. But you cannot tell Cowboys fans this shit because they're so fucking narrow-minded. Well, it's not Dak's fault. No fucking shit, dude. It's not Dak's fault. No shit. We can see it. We're not dumb. We can see the stats and we watch the games. We're not saying it's his fault. What we're saying is that's not the only way to win games is by scoring fast and scoring a lot when you're not stopping the opposing team's offense. And that is the story of the Dallas Cowboys. You can fact check me on it all you want. I watch every last one of the games I have for the last 15, 20 years, damn near. Okay, since I became obsessed with the NFL. They continue to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And they wonder why they lose. So, am I surprised that they lost? Yes. Because again, I don't know. I really thought that this was just that the Panthers were not a team that could fare well against them. But again, I forgot because I got a little bit of the Cowboy fan-itis. I'm seeing their offense like, holy shit, man, they put up like goddamn 30, 40 points a game, motherfucker. Like that guy here throwing for 1,000 yards a game and Pickens out here and Javonte Williams scoring touchdowns. I got the itis and I'm stupid for that. Now, I would not say that I would pick the Cowboys to lose every game against Carolina. And I think you've heard me mention this before on this podcast. I always say in a 9-game series, or I'll say a 7-game series, 9-game or 7-game series, some weird number. All right. I'm picking the Cowboys to win probably 7 out of 9 out of 9 meetings. I'm picking them.
Yeah, it's the same deal. Just like we were talking earlier with the Bears and Commanders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, yes, I think Dallas is the better team, but I'm definitely not surprised by this loss. No, I'm not because again, the flow of the game. You got Rico Dowdle going off, and you're going to keep giving them the ball. You should have been like, hey, yo, we need to slow the pace a little bit. We know we can pass, but at some point, this passing shit, we're going to give them too many opportunities. Somebody going to fuck up. That's football. I have not seen a game in my life, maybe one. And it might have been that Rams-Chiefs game that went to 1 million points back in like 2019, I think it was. You know what I'm talking about? That crazy ring, Jared Goff versus
right after the wildfires. Yeah,
man. Oh my God, that one of the best games in NFL history.
For sure.
I'm not sure if there were turnovers. I'm assuming there were from both quarterbacks. Okay, but what I'm saying is if you're gonna throw the ball that much and score that often and put up that many yards, you're giving the defense a lot of opportunities to make plays. And what goes up must come down, which is why having a solid defense and a strong run game has won teams Super Bowls, i.e. the Patriots. Tom Brady had 1 year where he had insane numbers as a quarterback with a receiver with insane numbers, a.k.a. Randy Moss. And they went undefeated until the Super Bowl and lost. Okay? We've seen it time and time. We have enough evidence. We've seen it time and time again. Have a strong run game, control the clock, especially when the opposing team's offense is also being able to score. Somebody has to be smart enough to go, we need to slow the pace a little bit and control this game. Dallas is too fucking stupid to do it. It's their persona as a team, and I don't blame their coaches. I blame their team culture. That's a culture thing. I think when coaches go there, they're too fucking scared to shy away from the culture because guess what? If Dallas starts winning games 14-7 and 17-10, their stupid ass fans probably get pissed off because Dak's throwing for 140 yards and 1 touchdown.
My fantasy team lost.
Yeah, well, throw the ball more. You're winning. And this is why Dallas fans and Philadelphia fans, outside of the hatred between the rivalries, because of the rivalry, why we can never see eye to eye, because we have won in recent years. And we've been places recent years. And it's been because of stuff like this. And you know what they do? They move the goalposts and say, that's because Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball. Because they refuse to look at the big picture. You have been to a Super Bowl in recent years with fucking Jimmy Garoppolo. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, sure did.
Okay. Have you been to NFC Championship games?
Yes.
Okay. Has your quarterback thrown for 5,000 yards? Now, I'm not saying playing shitty, But did they throw for 5,000 yards to get you guys to that position, or did you have a strong defense in a strong run game?
Strong defense.
Strong ass defense. Dallas fans are idiots. And yes, this is a Dallas hate spiel right now. They're idiots. They don't know a lick about fucking football until they realize that their issue is the fact that they put too much fucking praise on their passing game in Dak Prescott and not identifying the real issue, which is their defense and their inability to run the ball. It's just that simple. So shout out to the Carolina Panthers for doing what they do. And because I can't say it, fuck the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes, sir. That is my favorite shirt that George Kittle has ever worn, is when they beat Dallas on Sunday Night Football and George scored a touchdown and he lifts up his jersey and underneath he has that shirt that just says "fuck Dallas." Like, I absolutely loved it. And yeah, when it comes to this game, you know, there's two things that I thought about. Number one, you mentioned what Rico Dowdle said before the game, and as ESPN put it, Rico Dowdle warned his former Dallas Cowboys teammates last week that they better get ready, buckle up. Well, he sure backed up his words with his play in this game with those 239 all-purpose yards. And Kaz, as you touch on the fact that Cowboys fans don't necessarily know what they want or what they need, I think back to something that my friend Bob told me after the Cowboys traded Micah Parsons. And he basically just sent me some screenshots from StatMuse, and it was about Micah Parsons' playoff stats. And he was like, he shows up in the regular season, doesn't show up in the playoffs. Good riddance. We get 2 draft picks. And I was like, dude, I was thinking to myself, I was like, if this is what you have to tell yourself to cope, cool. But to your point, Kaz, it doesn't matter if Micah doesn't produce in the playoffs if you don't even get there in the first place. And he was the reason why you even had a chance to get there. He was the reason why your defense was solid. And Trevon Diggs, when he was at his peak, Deron Bland started getting hurt.
Yeah.
And so shout out to Deron Bland as well, from Sacramento State by way of Fresno State. But those guys basically peaked, and it's unfortunate. And the one piece that the Cowboys had left that they could rely on, you can argue semantics of if they could rely on him when the playoffs come, but he was consistently great in the regular season. And now we are seeing the byproduct of him being gone is the Cowboys giving up a minimum of 30 points a game. And
I had a friend of mine. Yeah. Sorry to cut you off. I had a friend of mine tell me straight to my fucking, Twitter face.
Yeah.
He's like, well, again, coping. technically, let's put it in perspective here. I don't even know who the hell they got from Green Bay. That's how irrelevant this guy is to me. I don't care about who he was. Yeah, no. And I know he's a good player. I know he's a good player. But I'm like, you're trying to tell me that Jerry Jones, this guy said he kind of was right though. Our goal is to stop the run. With Micah, we're not stopping the run. I'm like, so you get rid of probably the only MVP, or not MVP, only Hall of Famer that's going to come out of Dallas in the next, I don't know how many years. A true, undeniable top player in the NFL. Get rid of him, and your cope is, well, the guy we got actually is going to help us stop the run.
Was it Kenny Clark? Is that his name?
I think so. I don't know. Green Bay's D tackle. I believe he's a seasoned vet, if I'm not mistaken. Regardless, I'm like, just say you guys made the fucking stupid move.
Can't even remember the guy's name.
Yeah, just say, yo, I hate this. They can't do it. It's like a, I don't. It's dude. It's like it's psycho. It's a psychological issue. Listen, they say every year. They say every year, it's our year. Dude, it's okay to look at your roster and say, you know what? Probably not our year. Probably not our year. It's okay. There's nothing. Look, thank you. Thank you for this. Look at this.
I had to. Right when you said this is our year, I was like, put it on the screen.
Start the season, win some games. Fans get, I can't see the bottom of it, whatever. We them boys, this is our year, and choke in the playoffs. And it's like, okay, and you guys never stop. It's like you have no sense of reality. You call yourself being a fan because you believe your team's going to win every year. They call Eagles fans delusional. Well, you guys are delusional. Motherfucker, we've been to 3 of them in the last 8 years. And won 2. I don't think that anybody's delusional anymore. You know what I mean? You guys at some point got to say, we're not a good football team. We're not a good franchise. And it's okay. Then you might start winning some goddamn games. You know what I'm saying? It might be some bad juju to the fan.
The first step is admittance.
And admitting you have a problem. So you get rid of Micah Parsons, and I know we got to move on from this, but you get rid of Micah Parsons. You get Kenny Clark, okay, Kenny from South Park, and you're trying to tell me that that's going to help your team get better, and you believe it. Well, Micah left, bro. I'm damn near threw a party in my house. I'm like, get this motherfucker out the NFC East, man. Get him out, bro. Get him out. Because I have nothing. We don't fear Dak Prescott. Well, Dak owns you guys record-wise. You guys don't do anything with the wins against Philadelphia. Every year that we have a solid defense, we do some shit. Every year. Every year that we have a solid run game, we do some shit. And more often than not, we split against Dallas anyways. So the only thing that Dallas wins is the QB battle. Well, look at Dak Prescott's stats against fucking mentally unstable Carson Wentz when he was going through his whole debacle over there after Nick Foles came in and stole the show. And then we get Jalen Hurts, who at one point they had him out as a wide receiver. And then he has a new OC every year. Yes, congratulations, Dak Prescott, for putting up 290, 300 yards a game and 2 touchdowns and maybe 1 pick. Congratulations. Because guess what? You're not putting up enough points still. You're not putting up enough points still. You guys always have been and always will be a polished turd. And that's it. Don't get stepped on.
Yeah, and as Gray Wolf, man, that was a great way to say it. As Gray Wolf says, Raiders fans are just as delusional. The one thing I will say, Gray Wolf, is I think specifically this season, Raiders fans are just so beaten down, and that they have Raider fans, I feel like, at least those around me locally here in Northern California, they have basically accepted what they are, what they always will be, because the fans have just been beaten down, and they're just struggling with the fact that this is the team that they call their favorite. And so at least with Raiders fans, they have accepted what they are, but with Cowboys fans, they're going to remain arrogant and delusional and what have you forever. And that's ultimately, I'll put it on the screen one more time. That's the Dallas Cowboy fan cycle. As Kaz was reciting it there, the season starts, the Cowboys win some games, the fans get their hopes up. They say, "We them boys, this is our year." And then they ultimately choke in the playoffs. And this meme is from when they do choke in the playoffs, as it circles, "We are here." Well, technically, right now, I'd say we're probably right here at win some games. But I don't even think that they'll get to that point of being able to choke in the playoffs. And why? Because they traded away their best player. And I feel bad for Dallas fans in general, Kaz, because I know you're not locked in on the NBA, but you understand the significance of
I know what's going on, though. I know what's going on. Yeah, I know what's going on over there. Yeah. I don't watch, but I know what's going on.
Exactly. So for Dallas fans who are fans of not only the Cowboys, but also the Mavericks, for them to trade Luka Doncic and Micah Parsons within a calendar year, oh my God, I don't know what I would do if I was a Cowboys or just a Dallas fan in general. And so, my thoughts are with them at this point.
Yeah, and the last thing I'm gonna say about Dallas before we move on is you also got to remember too, it's not that they're not gonna win games. They're gonna win some games, but they still have to play Philadelphia again, Washington twice, and they have to play New York. And I understand that you hear, well, New York. Yes, New York. Yeah, I said it. They got to play New York. In the division, they might struggle to finish in third place. If that happens, they're done. They might as well get rid of. They got George Pickens for no reason. They gave CeeDee Lamb that contract for no reason, and Dak can play as well as Dak plays all day long. They shot themselves in the foot with this Micah Parsons trade. It is that big of a deal. That is literally you guys losing like a Trent Williams or a Nick Bosa or Fred Warner. You just picture one of those guys just leaving your team right now.
Well, instead for the 49ers, we just lose them to injury. So
right. But just picture
at least they're still on the roster.
They at least get some games in. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
They contribute to some wins most likely. So yeah, it's a huge deal. It is a massive deal. It's the same thing with us if we were to lose Lane Johnson, or like when we lost Jason Kels. Mind you, we did get Cam Jerkins to come in there and he plays really well, but he's still not Jason Kels. He's not, you know what I mean? We love him to death, but it's not the same, And so many other teams have had similar players that have been in the same situation where they're like, yo, we can't get rid of this guy, even though our franchise sucks. So, yeah, losing Micah Parsons was a huge deal. And guess what? They lost 30-27. I bet you Micah Parsons makes up for those 3 points at some point.
For sure, without a doubt. And that's